Today we're going to talk about 9 of the best Blender courses when it comes to hard surface modeling, especially when creating weapons, crates, robots, and so on. Number 9. Steampunk Gun Game Asset in Blender. This course will teach you how to create a steampunk gun game asset, starting from concept art and ideas guidelines using PureRef, which is a free software that is mostly used for collecting reference images, ideas, and inspiration. After you know what exactly you're gonna do, you will start working on the high poly and low poly mesh modeling in Blender, in addition to detailed sculpting in ZBrush. The UV creation process will be done using Addons UV layout, which is a standalone application for the creation and adding of UV texture coordinates for 3D poly meshes and subdivision surfaces. And the texture map baking will be done using a combination of Marmoset Toolbag and Substance Designer. And later, the realistic texturing process will be done using Substance Painter, and finally the real-time render with Substance Painter and Blender's Eevee. Number 8. Blender PBR Art Creation. In this course, the instructor will teach you all the necessary tips to create models from basic to complex, starting with a simple example of a crate that will help you to get a better grasp of modeling basics in Blender using non-destructive workflows in addition to cloth simulation, UV mapping, and baking maps. And then you will learn how to create your own PBR materials, which stands for physically based rendering materials. Then you will jump to creating compelling lighting. This course is structured for both beginners and advanced users. The goal of the first section is to introduce you to Blender while completing the Sci-Fi Crate project, and that will be helpfully inspiring you to take on the much more complex and advanced section, where you will create a sci-fi turret and learn all the advanced tools and tips along the way. Number 7. 50 Modeling Issues from Hell. If you struggled with 3D modeling in Blender, you probably realize that some things are tough and can make the learning process hard sometimes and needlessly uncooperative. Even if you feel more or less comfortable with 3D modeling in Blender, there are always more things that can challenge you. So this training will be helping you identify and solve 50 common 3D modeling problems in Blender, such as a subdivide object collapsing into a shapeless mess, topology going haywire, non-manifold geometry, some models sometimes just explode, exported models are broken, and other more problems that the course will talk about. Number 6. Sci-Fi Crate Design in Blender. This course is a simple introduction to hard surface modeling workflow in Blender. Even if you are a complete beginner, this will help you to learn a lot because it contains very important and fundamental tools that every artist should have and add to their skill set. If you struggle with 3D modeling, the Boolean workflow, or just don't know where to start, this might be the place where you want to start. You will learn the proper modeling techniques and master 3D modeling and hard surface workflow in this comprehensive course. The steps you will go through include hard surface modeling, practical 3D modeling techniques and workflows, non-destructive modeling, learning realistic and natural lighting, correct and appealing composition, in addition to learning about materials and rendering. Number 5. Create sci-fi assets for video games. This is an in-depth course that will show you how to create sci-fi assets for video games, and in this case, you will learn how to create a sci-fi rifle. Before you start working on the actual modeling, you can go through the design stage, which is very important if you want to create something unique and artistic. You can use different methods to do this if you want to. In this project, the artist is just gonna use a combination of different models in order to stumble upon something that looks good. And then based on the concept of the sci-fi weapon, you can just start modeling using basic shapes. This stage is usually called the blockout stage, in which you put in place rough general shapes from which you can start adding details later. And after you finish working on the blocking out of the sci-fi weapon, you will have to start adding details to separate parts of the stock, grip, body, barrel, magazine, and so on. After that, the artist adds materials to different parts of the sci-fi weapon, and then he starts UV unwrapping it. And this will be followed by exporting the model to Substance Painter for baking and texturing. Number 4. Hard surface modeling in Blender. This is an in-depth hard surface modeling course that can be great for those who don't have a lot of experience with Blender, because the 2 instructors of this course will take you through all the stages step by step. Basically, this course will include everything you need to know to create robots and other hard surface stuff in Blender. This is a comprehensive guide to learning powerful modeling workflows plus 6 hours of theory. I would say the downside of this course is that it is a couple of years old because it includes in part Blender 2.79 in addition to Blender 2.8, which is the one that has the new interface. This might make it a little bit confusing, but if you focus on the concepts and the techniques, it's not gonna be a problem. Number 3, Sci-Fi weapon design in Blender. In this course, you will learn how to create relatively complex sci-fi models, and in this case, it's gonna be weapons. And the good thing is, this course will teach you how to create 2 weapons from scratch, not just one. You will learn how to block out the model, detail it, use hard surface modeling techniques for clean composition, and apply materials to give it a beautiful final render, and all that is gonna be completely done using Blender. This course is not for absolute beginners, but you can follow through if you are a quick learner and you can pick up things quickly. You will at least need to know the basic toolset within Blender, like scaling, extruding, moving, menus, and so on. The most important skills you will learn throughout this course are hard surface modeling techniques, including Boolean and bevel techniques, how to clean shading errors, and how to clean artifacts and mesh distortions. In addition to Boolean cleanup, which is necessary after a heavy modeling work of that nature, in addition to topology fixes as a continuation of the Boolean mesh cleanup. And after you are done with the modeling work, you will go through creating materials in addition to lighting, composition, and rendering. Number 2, Nitrox 3D Non-Destructive Modeling course. This is a Blender hard surface modeling course that will teach you Nitrox workflow, which stands for Non-Destructive Interactive Techniques for Rapid Object Exploration in 3D. This course will enable you to quickly model a parametric-like workflow that will help you create complex shapes easily. It is not going to include any add-ons like hard ops, box cutter, or mesh machine, just to name a few. But it is not going to be replacing them either, because those add-ons are very important. Using this workflow, you will not be able to model everything, but it does work well for a number of products in addition to ArcViz models. The course includes 230 minutes of compressed training videos, plus all source files, textures, and lighting rigs. Number 1, Sci-Fi Mech Design in Blender. This is a fantastic Blender course that will teach you how to master sci-fi mech design in Blender in a comprehensive video course that will show you in depth most, if not all, the techniques you will need in order to be able to create hard surface machines and mechas on your own. First, you need to go through the blockout phase, in which you block out the geometry of the model before jumping to the process of adding details. In order to make things easier, detailing this mecha model will go through multiple stages of iteration, which is good because it lets you become organized and focused, as opposed to being confused when adding all the details at once. When you are done, you will be making materials to make your hard work pop out a little bit, and then you will learn how to deal with decal application. And finally, you will go through the rendering and post-processing using a bonus video by showcasing how to create a composite with the Mech in Photoshop. I just want to mention that this course utilizes essential hard surface add-ons such as hard ops, box cutter, and decal machine, in addition to mesh machine amongst a few others. If you are interested in one of these courses or the hard surface modeling add-ons, you can find links in the description. I hope you found this video useful and informative. If you want to add something, you can do this in the comment section below. Also, you can check some of our previous videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.